Hello everyone, welcome to Mama Gibson's Reading Corner. Today I am going to be reading a book from one of my childhood favorite characters, Amelia Bedelia. This book is called Merry Christmas, Amelia Bedelia, and it's by Peggy Parish, and the pictures are done by Lynn Sweat. Let's get started. Amelia Bedelia, said Mrs. Rogers. Christmas is just around the corner. Is it? Said Amelia Bedelia. Which corner? Mrs. Rogers laughed and said, I mean tomorrow is Christmas Day. I know that, said Amelia Bedelia. There's still so much to do, said Mrs. Rogers. We'll never finish. We'll make it, said Amelia Bedelia. Just tell me what to do. First, said Mrs. Rogers, make a date cake. Put lots of dates in it. All right, said Amelia Bedelia. She started to the kitchen. Wait, said Mrs. Rogers. Put these nuts in the cake, too. She gave Amelia Bedelia a bag of nuts. Anything else? Do pop some corn, said Mrs. Rogers. I want to make popcorn balls. How much should I pop, said Amelia Bedelia. I will need 6 cups, said Mrs. Rogers. Amelia Bedelia went to the kitchen. I never heard tell of a date cake, she said, but I'll try my hand. Amelia Bedelia put some of this and a little of that into a bowl. She mixed and mixed. Soon her batter was ready. Now, she said, I need lots of dates. Amelia Bedelia thought about this. A calendar. She said, that has lots of dates. Amelia Bedelia got a calendar. She cut off all the dates and dumped them into the cake. Oh no, this can't be good. Now for the nuts, said Amelia Bedelia. She opened the bag of nuts. She dumped them into the cake. Amelia Bedelia mixed some more. Then she put the cake in the oven. I'll make a spice cake too, she said. I do love spice cake. So Amelia Bedelia made a spice cake. Now for the popcorn, she said. Amelia Bedelia measured 6 cups of corn. She popped and she popped. Mrs. Rogers must love popcorn balls, said Amelia Bedelia. Amy came to the back door. Amelia Bedelia, she called. Santa Claus is coming tonight. He's coming here? Said Amelia Bedelia. Yes, said Amy. Thank you for telling me, said Amelia Bedelia. I'll tell Mrs. Rogers. Amy went on her way. That cake smells good, said Mrs. Rogers. She came into the kitchen. She stopped. Amelia Bedelia, she said, why did you pop so much corn? I only needed 6 cups. And I popped 6 cups, said Amelia Bedelia. I meant 6 cups of popped corn, said Mrs. Rogers. Then you should have said so, said Amelia Bedelia. I know, said Mrs. Rogers. Have lots of popcorn. Amy said Santa Claus is coming tonight, said Amelia Bedelia. Did you know that? Oh, yes, said Mrs. Rogers. He comes every year. Don't you remember him? You mean the man in the red suit, said Amelia Bedelia, the one who comes down chimneys? That's right, said Mrs. Rogers. Oh, my, said Amelia Bedelia, that chimney is a sight. I'll have to clean it. Mrs. Rogers laughed and said, Don't bother. Santa Claus will manage. The telephone rang. I'll get it, said Mrs. Rogers. I'll see to my cakes, said Amelia Bedelia. She opened the door to the oven. Just right, she said. I'll set them out to cool. Oh, Amelia Bedelia, called Mrs. Rogers. This is dreadful. Amelia Bedelia ran to Mrs. Rogers. What is it? She said. We forgot about Aunt Myrna. We must go and get her, said Mrs. Rogers. Can you finish everything? said Mrs. Rogers. Of course I can, said Amelia Bedelia. I made a list. I hope you will understand it, said Mrs. Rogers. Don't you worry, said Amelia Bedelia. We will be back about 8 o'clock, said Mrs. Rogers. Aunt Myrna loves Christmas carols. Could you greet her with some? I'll do my best, said Amelia Bedelia. A car horn blew. That's Mr. Rogers, said Mrs. Rogers. She went out to the car. I better get busy, said Amelia Bedelia. What must I do first? She looked at the list and read, Stuff 6 stockings for the neighbor's children. Amelia Bedelia shook her head. Now that beats all, she said. I've stuffed turkeys, but I've never stuffed stockings. Amelia Bedelia went to the kitchen. That will take lots of stuffing, she said, so she made pans and pans of it. That should do it, said Amelia Bedelia. She found 6 stockings, and Amelia Bedelia stuffed them. Oh, no. I don't think those children are going to be very happy with stockings stuffed with stuffing. She looked at her list. Hang the stockings by the mantel. Amelia Bedelia got some rope. She hung those stockings on the mantel. Stuffed and hung, she said. What's next? Trim the tree. Amelia Bedelia looked at the tree. It looks fine to me, she said. But if she wants it trimmed, I'll trim it. So Amelia Bedelia trimmed the tree. Maybe it was too fat, she said. Amelia Bedelia looked at the list. Oh, she said, I have to go to the store. In a bit, Amelia Bedelia was back. The list says to put on colored balls. She said, I hope I bought enough. Amelia Bedelia put colored balls on the tree, but the balls rolled right off. Shoot, she said, I'm going to tie you on, and she did. Look at what kind of balls she got. Basketball, football, baseball. Oh, no. String on lots of lights, read Amelia Bedelia. She found lots of lights. She found some string, and she strung on those lights. What a fancy tree, said Amelia Bedelia. I wonder what's next. She looked at the list. My word, she said. Put a big star on top of the tree. What kind of star does she want? A movie star, a rock star, a baseball star? Amelia Bedelia sat down to think. I would like to be a star, she said. I guess everybody would. Suddenly, Amelia Bedelia had an idea. That's it, she said. Everybody can be a star on this tree. Amelia Bedelia made a sign. It said, See the star. She put it on the tree. She got a mirror. She tied it to the top of the tree. Amelia Bedelia looked into the mirror. Hooray, she said, I'm a star. Amelia Bedelia looked at the list. That's it, she said. I'll make those popcorn balls. Mrs. Rogers won't have time. Amelia Bedelia made dozens of popcorn balls. Maybe Mrs. Rogers wanted these for the tree. She said, I'll put them on. Amelia Bedelia wrapped the balls. She tied them on the tree. Now that does look nice, she said. Now, I must make some telephone calls. Amelia Bedelia made her calls. She looked at the clock. My, it's getting late, she said. I need some supper. Amelia Bedelia made her supper and ate it. Then she cleaned up the kitchen. The folks will be here soon, she said. I'll wait up front for them. A little later, the doorbell rang. Amelia Bedelia opened the door. Come in, she said. 3 children came in. They sat and talked with Amelia Bedelia. A car turned into the drive. Here they are, said Amelia Bedelia. You know what to do. The door opened. We're here, said Mrs. Rogers. Aunt Myra came in. Now, said Amelia Bedelia. got the children ready. Greetings, 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 said the three children. What's that about? Said Mrs. Rogers. You said to greet Aunt Myra with carols, said Amelia Bedelia. Here's Carol Lee, Carol Green, and Carol Lake. What lovely carols, said Aunt Myrna. Thank you. And the children left. Mrs. Rogers saw the tree. Amelia Bedelia, she shouted, what did you do to that tree? Popcorn balls, shouted Aunt Myrna. I love popcorn balls. She ran to the tree. Look, shouted Aunt Myra. I'm a star. Mrs. Rogers began to splutter. Don't be angry, dear, said Mr. Rogers. It's Christmas, and Aunt Myra's happy. Be thankful for that. Oh, all right, said Mrs. Rogers. Let's have some cake. Just what I wanted, said Mr. Rogers. They all went to the kitchen. Amelia Bedelia, said Mrs. Rogers, where's my cake? Amelia Bedelia put the cake on the table. Mr. Rogers sliced it. What kind of cake is this? He said. It's full of paper and rocks. Let me see the paper, said Aunt Myra. She looked at it. I know, she said. It's a date cake. And your rocks are nuts, said Amelia Bedelia. So they are. I was all set for some good cake. Here you are, she said, or said Amelia Bedelia. She gave him her cake. Spice cake, said Aunt Myra. Amelia Bedelia, you're my kind of person. Delicious, said Mr. Rogers. I'll have another piece, said Mrs. Rogers. So will I, said Aunt Myra. They ate until most of the cake was gone. It's past my bedtime, said Aunt Myra. We should all go to sleep, said Mrs. Rogers. You too, Amelia Bedelia, said Mr. Rogers. Santa Claus won't come if you're awake. He can wait a bit, said Amelia Bedelia. I have work to do. Amelia Bedelia washed the dishes. She heard something outside. What is that? She said. Amelia Bedelia opened the door. Santa Claus, she said. Wait till I tell the folks. Shh, said Santa Claus. You should be asleep. You shouldn't see me. Amelia Bedelia closed her eyes. Now I can't see you, she said. Please go to bed, said Santa Claus. I have work to do. I'm on my way, said Amelia Bedelia. Good night, Santa Claus, called Amelia Bedelia. Good night, said Santa Claus, and Merry Christmas, Amelia Bedelia. Well, that was a pretty good Christmas book. I enjoyed it. I love how she trimmed the tree and put balls and popcorn balls and a mirror on top. That was my favorite part. And once again, she saved the day with cake. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you all are having a wonderful Christmas season. And I cannot wait to see you back here again for another episode of Mama Gibson's Reading Corner. So keep reading those books.